Hi, hi. Thank you for joining our YouTube today. And today we are come back with some feedback and concern about the country interview policy that Department of State just launched on August 28th and September 6th. Today we are having a guest, Anthony Kevin from Oakland Law Firm. Uh, Thank you for joining us today, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. And yeah, I'm Kevin Stewart. I have an immigration law practice in Oakland, California, San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. Like yesterday, it was like one of my big day. Like I feel like I go to work in the war because 50 people just take about the same question at the same time. Uh, Come to start or back to the basic. I have seen these past few months a lot of immigration policy have been like changing a lot. Some in a good way, some in the other way. So how did you describe this period of immigration surface in these past few months?
Yeah, well, it's very hard to keep track of what the changes actually are. And in the area of consular processing, particularly, it's always been very difficult to know, what the procedures are because they tend to differ depending on which embassy or consulate you're going through. So for that particular set of changes, it's been a bit of a rough period. I mean,
Yeah.
this is where you have any time, like if there are any restrictions, like visa bans, or from Trump 1.0, we had some of those, and then some of those have been in place here as well.
Yes. And then I be able to read a lot of memo every Friday. It's just like to drop off something every Friday, like some sharing, and then it's kind of like
Yes.
since summer until today, I still like every Friday I'm gonna get the bad news from immigration policy update all the time. But hey, thanks for having you here today. And then I want to go through the some of my audience have a little issue with that because there are technical immigration vocabulary law that some like normal people, immigrants just like us, did not understand.
Sure.
So let me go through the file to see if we can share that screen with you. So um you can tell us a little bit about that. Okay. So this one is one of the area that I think we are need your help to explain about this policy a little bit. Uh, Back August 28th. So did uh sorry, I did read this memo, this new policy update that talking about like third country interview with the consular processing, but they did mention only the green card holder. Can you explain about it for us?
Sure. So the policy that was announced on August 28th
Mm-hmm.
only referred to immigrant visa processing. So immigrant
Mm-hmm.
visa processing is generally processing of green card
Yes, right.
application. It's also, I know, the fiance visa applications are considered immigrant visa process as well. And so this could be either for family or employment-based green card applications. So what the policy says, and it's actually pretty clear, and people need to keep this in mind, is that the new policy is that applicants would be required to to interview in the consular district designated for their place of residence. And so residence is the default. And obviously you need to be able to prove residence through work permit or through a visa to be in that country where you're residing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there are other requirements as well. So the place of residence is what governs. It's not your nationality. And if you want to, you can request processing through your country of nationality.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then there are some charts that I believe like some people that not study law will not understand this. So I want you to explain this because there are some Facebook group for Thai people that they've been like, follow the new everything and then been
Yes,
sharing like 250 times yesterday, since a couple days ago. So they've been asking like there are some people post this and also post another memo about non-immigrant visa that apply the same policy as well. But they've
sure.
been questioned that we don't have our country in this chart. Do this policy apply to everyone in the world?
It's so just going back to what we just established.
Mm-hmm.
People just need to keep in mind if there is a consulate or embassy in their place of residence, that
Mm-hmm.
is their default.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that is showing on this chart is there are some countries where there is no consulate, U.S. consulate or embassy in operation. Or if there is one, it's limited operation. And so they don't do immigrant visa processing. So that's why this list of designated posts is there. So, in other words, the only reason that you would ever look at this chart would be if you are in a place where there is no immigrant visa processing. I mean, the best examples are Afghanistan and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no immigrant visa processing. I don't think we have operations at all in either of those countries right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the important thing is there's no reason to look at this chart if your place of residence is one that has a an operating consulate or embassy for immigrant visa.
Thank you for clarify that. It's like really helpful because I realized like I mean when the memo is come out, I kind of know it myself what is applied to everyone. But when someone else who doesn't, work in the law, immigration law or study immigration law or don't know the law really well, they kind of like try to question, but there are no Thailand in here, no Vietnam in here.
Right, right.
Is that
And
this law
so
gonna
yeah,
but
so
they're
there's
not
no
even
problem for the yeah.
like for
But
for
now
normal pe yeah, for normal people
yeah,
just
I'm
like I
sorry.
not even know why this chart it exists because we never know why those country doesn't have like
Right.
consulate to process their im immigrant visa in their country.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And so I mean, well, and this is the thing. The title even of this chart is a little bit misleading
Mm-hmm.
because it says immigrant visa designated processing posts. So if you didn't fully understand the text that came before this, you might be wondering why isn't my country listed? So it's kind of, it's just one of these government things.
Yeah.
I think they felt that they were obligated to post this because people would ask, what is my designated location? So that's and in some cases there's more than one. Now let's go back a little bit and also address, I think, the big question for folks, and that is, what about processing in my home country, my country of nationality? That's not an issue at all. That in that same first paragraph, it says you're designated for your place of residence, so that's first, or in your country of nationality if requested. So anyone who wants to process through their country of nationality, they can.
Mhm.
It's just that they have to request it. So and it's interesting, it's important to note it's NVC, National Visa Center, that is going to handle these decisions. It wouldn't be the consulates themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, through NVC, that they would make the decision as to whether or not your request was granted.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for clarify that. But another question about this policy that coming from immigrant visa on August 28th. So which is they asking like if you already have exciting appointment, like I would say like some client told me that they go into re-announcement. They are Guatemala citizen. I post on thread the other day about this policy. And they are in Guatemala and have US citizen but leave the country for a while. So they have to re-announce US citizen if they want to come back. So because Guatemala is, I don't know what the situation is. Maybe the embassy is closing down still, or maybe the slot of the queue is not available. So she tried to go to Canada to make appointment at US Embassy in Canada to re-announcement her US citizen. Is that
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a little different. So you're saying that what they want to do is they want to renounce their U.S.
yes, right, right,
citizenship?
right, 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 right.
This doesn't apply to that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that could, and my understanding is you can renounce your U.S. citizenship at any consular post
Yeah.
or embassy anywhere
I
in the world.
okay, so I going back to told them that. And then
Yeah.
uh for people who already have green card, like I would say like I have work permit in Malaysia, but I'm Thai citizen, but I'm so like, want to interview my EB1A by consular processing in Malaysia. Already have appointment, but appointment is maybe like late December 2025. Is that
Hmm.
is that I be able to keep that appointment or not?
As long as that's your place of residence. Yeah.
Okay. And then also there are like talk about post to post transfer here. Can you explain us a little bit about this?
Um, yeah, that's kind of, this might happen in a case where someone's residence changed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right. And the reason that they're addressing it here is that in the past, this was fairly normal where you would request a transfer from one post to another. And you would basically contact the consulate or embassy directly to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the reasons for making this change is that they don't want this emailing back and forth with applicants about moving the cases around.
Mm-hmm.
It's an additional bureaucratic headache for them.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can, so in a case where your place of residence changes, and this can happen, I mean, it could happen between the time that you applied, it takes so much time to get these through the process anyway, and the time that you're about to interview, your place of residence might change.
Mm-hmm.
So, or let's say you no longer want to interview in your place of residence, you want to interview in your home country.
Mm-hmm.
Then what this is saying for about post to post transfers is this needs to be done through NVC,
Okay.
not through the
So
embassies or consulates.
okay, great. And so I wasn't sure the other two section you already explained us about resident requirement and exception. There are something like maybe like Ukraine have some war and other reason is like medical
Well,
emergency.
yeah, I mean, what I would tell people about exceptions, it, you're probably not going to get it.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I mean, this is like going to be something like where, it, what it would, I think in most cases, like for humanitarian, it would be like if, well, maybe Nepal. I don't know if they're on that list, but that might be an example
Uh-huh.
where you can't go back to Nepal because, well, it your place of residence, for some reason, you can't do it there, and you couldn't go back to Nepal, for example, because of civil unrest.
Mm-hmm.
They might agree to a
Mm-hmm.
change, but you'd have to present evidence that that's it. I mean, inability to travel, that might, especially like if you're elderly, or if you have illness that makes it impossible for you to travel,
Mm-hmm.
then NVC might okay your processing through a different post. The thing people need to keep in mind, though, is that that's probably going to take a lot longer than it would
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
at your home country or place of residence.
Okay, great. And then for visa lottery, yeah, like application and
Yeah,
change.
I think the thing that's difficult there is that, like, if you already have a scheduled interview,
Mm-hmm.
it probably doesn't change anything.
Okay,
But,
great.
but going forward, this would maybe shake things up from what people are expecting.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we go really quick because I did tell you like yesterday like I did not realize that there has some another memo about on September
Right.
6th. I
Yeah.
just that's why I have you
Well,
here
yeah.
today because there are some
And
people
when
asking
we
me.
discussed it, yeah.
Uh-huh. We thought it's only have a immigrant visa. We don't know that, oh, this is exists as well. So that's why I have you here today to explain us a little bit. Do you
Sure.
know, can you give us
I
your
don't think
opinion?
it's in, yeah, I don't think it's any different.
Yes.
But what I would say is that it's much more common for
Uh-huh.
non-immigrant visa applicants to request a third party national that
Uh-huh.
TCN is the abbreviation that we use. That stands for third country
Yeah.
national, TCN. So those requests in the past have been much more common for non-immigrant visa.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, in a lot of cases, immigrant visa, the person's probably, they're going to stay put either in their place of residence or if they're going to want to go through their nationality location.
Mm-hmm.
But, we pretty regularly have been able to send people for things like, H-1B, F-1,
Mm-hmm.
O's. You could more or less go, you could just request it and you could go to any consular post and process.
Yeah.
So the policy, my understanding is it's basically the same as the one we just discussed for immigrant
Mm-hmm.
visa.
Mm-hmm.
But the sort of the immediate effect is that whereas you used to be able to just email the post that you wanted to accept your application for processing, they are not accepting those requests at all now. And if you made a request through NVC, it's probably not going to be granted
Mm-hmm.
based on this same policy. I mean, the policy uh, is, as far as I can tell, the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I just have some question. I wonder why this happened. This policy is just suddenly come out.
Well, yeah, no, what we think is kind of as I was alluding to before, they don't want to manage this. So, and having been through this with clients before, the whole process of trying to get someone through the interview and the medicals and all that stuff for immigrant visa particularly, it's a big hassle. And so the whole idea that you're going to be going back and forth in a conversation with the consular officer at the post where you want your application to go. See, the rule before was that if you wanted to make a change, you would request it from the accepting post.
Mhm.
And so, having been through this, we're talking about, you know, many, many emails,
Yes, right,
20
right,
or
right. That's
30,
true.
literally 20 or 30 emails back and forth. And in my experience, the accepting, there are some, apparently London has been very good in the past, but there are
Mm-hmm.
some that they just didn't really want to get involved. And the post, either the residence or the nationality post of the applicant, they were kind of, wanting to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, it's the whole thing is like these different posts, it's not like they talk to each other. They report to the same agency, Department of State, but each one is completely different in the way they handle things. So,
Mm-hmm.
easy solution from Department of State's point of view, hand it over to NVC.
That's it.
So, yeah, yeah, no, no, just and also it's like don't give people the option generally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, that's really it's a workload. Look, if you consider what has been happening at Department of State, I mean, they have been cutting staff and closing
Mm-hmm.
locations. They're going to close more
Mm-hmm.
embassies and consulates over the next year or two in this administration. So this is naturally something that they saw as, well, it's going to be kind of hard to manage this. For example, if we are setting interviews and then we're closing, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
so it needs to be centrally organized for the way that they want to do it.
I get it. But thank you for sharing that. And I don't know, somehow I understand this clearly that have nothing to do with people who already inside the US with change of status or adjustment of status or even renew E2 investor visa or renew O1 visa. But
Right.
there are some people of mine popping up this question. They are going to have to go back to renew E2 with the consular process, you know.
No, and I mean that is actually a little bit of a different wrinkle. If you're in the US, let's say, because we have to do this with H-1Bs from time to time.
You're right, right.
So you may be working in H-1 status, but you have a recently approved application. It may be necessary for you to go out and come back in. I don't think that process has changed in that
Mm-hmm.
you could there are special consular locations, like I know Vancouver has one, I think Montreal has another one. Those are posts that are set up to do that type of visa stamping.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, basically you're in status, you're in the US, but your status has changed, either a change of employer or extension. In those situations, you would not have to go home.
Mm-hmm.
You could process that particular aspect of your visa. You could do that at those. The thing with those locations is they are designated for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I have a F1 student been asking me they want to go, STEM visa in Canada as well. I guess in Vancouver or whatever mentioned. But I wasn't sure how difficult in this past few months because, anything changed a lot. And then I also like, try to encourage people like my F1 student to stay inside the US as much as they can because we
Yeah.
don't know if they leave and then even in, you know, American Lawyer Associate conference last time they even, you know, encourage us to tell F1 student not to leave the country for just passport stamp or anything like that because they're afraid that maybe.
Well, I mean, there is still potentially an issue of each individual's
Hmm.
possibility of having an issue on reentry. That's
Yeah, that's right.
separate and apart from this whole discussion.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
But th
yeah. I
thank
mean,
you
yeah.
so much for give us your opinion today. I think this information is really helpful for people who are really have a big confusion yesterday. So this is kind of answer everything. But thank you for joining at our meeting today. But I hope
All right.
to see you again next time when we have really great big new update immigration policy again, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks so much, Elizabeth. Yeah, you know it's not going to be long. We're going to have more things to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You
All
have a
right.
great day.
You too. Bye bye.